I'm hiding. I'm hiding. You can't see me. A little backstory. The model that is debuting today is my Halloweeny model, but I'll probably use her for a long time after Halloweeny because the rigging is so good. And you may have noticed in my previous endeavor, I'm gonna kill you. I'm doing that later. I'm introducing my model. We will not give HENNY a treat right now. Shut. Shut. Hi, my kids. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, my old model doesn't have a lot of expressions, and that's because I rigged her on a bit of a budget. That's true. I did. And that's okay. That is what it is. But this time I decided that I will treat myself, you know? Treat myself a little bit. And I wanted to really have a lot of fun with this one and really show off my personality a lot more. And I'm really excited to show you all my beautiful, cute new girl. You approve of treating yourself? Thank you, Aki. My camera's being a bit fucky-wucky. Hang on, chat. I really need a new one. This one is fucky-wucky. You stick around until you show up. You gotta work on some stuff? That's totally fair, Mudkip. Good luck with your work. Glory? Yes, Omni. Glory! I'm not very good at working my webcam. I won't lie, chat. Me and my webcam, we have a tenuous relationship. I think we're there. I think we're there. I think we've done it. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the model reveal. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, are those... Chat, are those cat ears? Oh my god! Chat, I think those are cat ears. That's right. That's right, chat. For Halloween, I'm a cat. I'm a kitty cat. I'm a kitty cat. Look at my pretty hair. Look. Let's look at it closer. Ooh. My eyes. Oh, look at them. My shiny, pretty eyes. I have cat ears. Yes, Aki. I've straightened my hair out a little bit too to match the vibe. My hair isn't as curly this time, but that's okay. It's still lovely. And I've got roses in it. Look at them. We went for a Tokyo Mew Mew idea with the ears, so they've got cute little bells and ribbons on them. But I'm still a doll. Look, you can see the crack in my face. It's still me. I'm just wearing a silly little costume that moves. But look, you can see my face rigging is already so much better. Look at that. Look at my mouth go. Wow. I'm moving. I'm moving for real. You're loving the roses and pearls? Thank you. It was really cool. It was a really cool idea from my model mama. And then we continue on. I've got a new dress. Look at that. Look at the gold on the bodice. On the neckline. And there's the teaser I posted on the Discord of my bodice. Thank you, thank you. I love the puffy sleeves. And look, I have a tail! It never stops moving. My tail go. My tail goes. And if we make myself a little smaller. Oh, no legs. Ignore that. Ignore the no legs. But there I am. Still not a full model, chat, I fear. Still a half model, but such an upgrade. Don't you agree? You have to agree. It's so gorgeous, isn't it? I'm so happy with this. I'm probably gonna use this for a long time until I get something better, because it's just wow. So Kitty Priscilla is gonna be the norm for a while, but that's okay. I mean, look at me. I'm glad you guys love it so much. Shout outs to my model mama once again. Posture check, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to my model mama once again. Hang on, let me link her. Me and Tempe share a model mama, and it's really, honestly, so lucky. Squishoo, squishoo. Hang on, I'll get her link. Shout out to Squishoo. Shout outs to Squishoo once again for just doing incredible work. We love her. We're a big fan. She hooked me up with yeah, you figured out what the new head patch means. Good job, Omni. Yes. And I do have some fun little poses. Hang on. Some toggles. Of course, I have my hands. I like that the hands show that I'm still a doll. It's nice. I like that that hasn't been erased. It's still me, your lovely doll. I'm just also a cat now. I'm a cat doll. And look at my cute little arm wrist, my wrist thingies, my arm decorations. They're so pretty. And of course the blood. Who are we without the blood? But we got a blushy face now. Oh, a lovely blushy. So cute. So bashful, so flustered. Oh my god. You caught me eating and I was just so messy, and it's just, oh my god. I'm usually tidier than this. And then I have a pouty face. Rude. Being rude to me. I'm so mad. No, don't pinch my cheek. Mean. Mean to me. And then we have, ooh, doom and gloom. Terrifying. So spooky. Very spooky. Perfect for this season. And then we have Serge. Oh no. Oh no, Serge. Oh no. They took my food away. Please? Can I please have a brain? Please? I just want to eat the leg chunk, please. Pretty please. But then, what if I cried for realsies? What if I cried for realsies with real tears? With real tears and everything. Oh. Where am I? Who took away my food? How am I supposed to eat the humans when they take them away? No! Very sad. Oh. I'm crying now. I demand sacrifices to make up for it. Oh, it's so fun. And I'm very glad that my model mama was like, yeah, I'll give you a tail. Sure, why not? It really completes the picture. You volunteer? The bows have bells? Yes! Tokyo Mew Mew inspired. I was like, they have to. Why wouldn't they, you know? You volunteer? Thank you, thank you. Only you can stop Priscilla tears. Such a cute detail. Yes! Thank you so much, guys. I'm very glad. I'm very happy with the work that me and Squishy cooked up. We really did amazing work. It's just, oh, it's killer. And again, I'm so glad that she introduced me to someone who knows her models well, and we're really moving now. We're schmoving. And it's also the spooky season. Oh my god, guys, it's the spooky season. You know what's perfect for the spooky season? Lesbians. Lesbians. Oh, it's so loud. Lesbians are vital for the spooky times. We all know that lesbians are the gayest thing alive. I mean, obviously. But we also know lesbians are the scariest thing alive because they keep trying to stop us from happening. Gay vampires? Only one of them's a vampire, but you're right. Gay and vampire? Gosh. What will they think of next? You're going to be lurking but have fun? Thank you for showing up, Meg. I do appreciate it a lot. I am very excited to have fun with you all. With the lesbian times. And thank you all everyone for showing up for my new model. I'm a big fan of how I look now. I was feeling a bit morose about my lack of expressions. Well, not my lack of expressions, but my lack of reactivity. Old Priscilla design is lovely and we love it. And we'll remember her forever in our heart. But now I can react to things. And isn't that the best thing in the world? Oh. I can make faces. Like my mouth moves now. Look. I can grin. I can grin bigger than that, but it takes a bit more work. And I don't want to break my face. Is it? Hang on. Yes! I have to show you one thing. Hang on. Fangs. 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 Okay, I'm done now. Sorry. It's really well done. Shout out Squishy. If you guys ever get the budget to work with Squishy and she recommends, and you ask for her to recommend a rigger, please go with them. Even if you have the budget, I know budget is key. It's definitely worth it to go with someone who knows her models. Yes, fangs! What is a kitty cat without her little fangs? you know? Better for chomping the blood down too. I can tear the tendons better now. Fun fact. Do I want to share a lore dump? So you guys know I'm not just a doll, right? Like, there's something in the doll, and that's actually me. I'm the thing inside the doll. The doll is a prison. You guys remember that, right? Priscilla in the prison, outside of the doll body, like, if she ever broke out, she would have, like, massive Jenny Green teeth, like, sharp teeth. Like, she's actually a horror monster. In, like, a very, very visceral way. But she's also sexy. So it's okay. Lesbians, that's right. Lesbians. Let's get into it. Let's get to it, yeah. This is the same artist as the person who did the art for Salam's Kiss. We remember that. I remember the... Will that lore be on future tests? Probably not. You're probably safe. I'm not big on, like, testing people. I hate tests. Also, welcome in! First time chatter. Welcome in. Ussie. Is Ussie okay? Can I call you Ussie? I'm so sorry if I bumped my mic like crazy. I forgot that it was there. Welcome in. New debut, new model. And we're going to be looking at lesbians. OMG, you're gorgeous. Hi, Squishy! It's my model mama. Hang on. Hi! I am really glad that I went with your rigger recommendation. God, I look so good. I'm moving and everything. I'm schmoving. Ah, thank you for the head pets, Jewel. Ah, thank you for the kissy squishy. Yes, this is my model mama, everyone. Say hi. Say you love her. You're so flowy. Yes, I am. I'm really glad that we did about taking the straightness of the kills. It looks really good. I think if we had the full kills, it wouldn't flow as well. It looks it works so well with the design, having like the waves. It's just it's good. I'm so happy to see you, Squishy. I do need to get a new PC rig. I've brought this up in Discord before. My one is getting pretty potato. But good news, chat. I don't have to. You knew she could do it, and I'm so glad you did. I'm really glad. It's just a gift. It's a gift and a treasure. But yes, I don't have to pester you all to fundraise my PC rig because my mother has agreed that if I'm okay with it being a joint birthday and Christmas present, because my birthday's in December and she usually does like different days because she also has a December birthday, so she knows the pain. If I was okay with having a joint December birthday / Christmas present, she could swing it. So I just need to get her a list of specs. And she's going to bring it to my younger brother as well because he knows tech a bit more than her and he's going to help her find things. So hopefully I will have a new PC by next year, early next year. That would be really cool. It would mean I could run things. Like, for those who... Yes, PC upgrade. Like, I couldn't run Silent Hill F and I'm still really I'm pretty depressed about that. I need to see if it works off stream, but I have a feeling it won't. We couldn't run the Cat Lady, and that's a pretty old game. Although I kind of could run it, but I couldn't get it situated in my overlays very well because of the double screen thing. It was one of those games that hates you clicking off of it, you know? So I wonder if I just turn off my overlay and have my model sitting on top of the game. Just for that game. But, you know, there's the... Oh my god, it's raining. I'm sorry if stream is really shit today. we've just a heavy downpour has just started. So PC. Yes. Yes, PC. PC upgrade, very important. I hope the... Oh, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I hope this stream isn't going to be too dog shit. My bitrate is always unstable, to be honest, chat. I think it's because I'm in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. So I can't really base it off of that. But we soldier on, we persevere. We stay strong. And we're only running a visual novel. It's probably gonna be fine. It's spring over here, so intermittent weather like this is pretty normal, unfortunately. We are going to be playing this again on Saturday at the same time. So if you guys are able to show up for part 2, that'll be awesome. But I do have a VODs channel if you miss it, so don't worry too much. Do not worry too much. There is a way to still see if you miss a stream. Don't worry. I actually had someone comment on what's it called? The yaoi one. The yaoi one I played, you know. You know, the yaoi one. The yaoi one with the goth, the emo boy, and the centuries old knight. I got a comment on part 1 of that VOD who was like, I was looking for Ebihime playthroughs and I found you. I can't wait to do a deep dive. And I was like, yes! I found my people! Because I'm a mega fan of Ebihime. I love her work. There's a few things I am tempted to stream that might get me in trouble of hers. We'll see. It would be impressive if you managed to get frame rate issues on a VN. Yeah, actually, that would be pretty fucking impressive, honestly. Kind of hype. Kind of crazy sauce. Kind of, like, insane. Can you guys all hear the music well, actually? I turned it down a lot. I want to make sure you're able to still hear that banging piano and the violin still. Yeah. Get a custom sense screen. Lol, nothing gets TS going on in the game that way. I would have to figure out how to do that, but that's kind of hype. Actually, that is, I kind of have a way I could do that. I wouldn't be able to stream it, but I could do playthroughs. I'm kind of doing that for the, well, Katawa Shoujo is currently on paused. Currently paused, kind of. I need to get back into recording that. I have these little, like, art pieces of my cat that I'm going to get an editor to, like, plop on top of anything. That's kind of saucy. I kind of already have that, actually. You're right. I see you're right. Oh, my God. You've only been here for, like... This is your first stream and you're already giving me genius concepts. Oh, my God. Thank you. I could stream every single one of these games. There's nothing stopping me. Only I can stop myself. You try. I do appreciate it. Thank you, dear. Thank you for popping in, and it's nice seeing you. Welcome in. Okay, we start for real. I can't wait to see how terrible this is to these women. I bet these women are gonna have a bad time. Faster, Meek! Faster! You have to keep moving or else... Oh God! They're gaining on us! Meek ran through the forest as quickly as her legs would carry her, which, given how exhausted she felt, was not very. She tried to obey Henny's orders, fearful both of letting her friend down and of the shadowy figures who pursued them. But her body refused to listen. Glad you can catch your stream. Might be lurking though because I'm multitasking. That's totally fair. I do that a lot when I watch streams. Her legs felt numb and insensible, as unfeeling as a marble but far, far weaker. You might have to go since you have class in a bit. That's okay, Squishy. I hope you have a good time at class. I hope it's not too stressful. Happy stream, yes! I'm glad you could pop in. It was lovely seeing you. Big kisses. Big kisses for Squishy. Mwah! It was through nothing save sheer force of will that she was able to keep going, for all her strength had already abandoned her. Though Meek continued to run, staggering blindly through the fog, she feared it was already a lost cause. I think... Is my model taking... No, my model's fine. I was worried it was taking up too much space. She was but a woman, young woman, slender and, well, not so very short, quite unaccustomed to exerting herself. She was not like Henny, who spent her days on her hands and knees, polishing the floors and blacking the fireplaces. Meek's fingers were white as ivory, while Henny's were red raw through demeaning, demanding, often physical labour. Meek's lungs, meanwhile, were straining from the agonising effort of running. Never before had she known that the act of merely existing could be so exhausting. Meek, please, you need to hurry. Quickly, Meek! Henny reached back to take hold of Meek's hand, her coarse, short fingernails digging into Meek's palm. Henny was gripping so tightly it hurt, but Meek knew, should she lag behind, she would find herself in far greater pain than this. Meek recalled how her father had looked back in their carriage, his eyes wide and his face unusually pale. Meek had never seen her father look so scared before. He was a tall, imposing figure of a man, dashing even in his early 50s, who was accustomed to issuing orders, not receiving them. Meek had thought her father immovable, much like the oak tree which shielded her family's mausoleum, a tree which had stood there for longer than the crypt itself. To Meek, her father had seemed like a force of nature, one which was impossible to argue with or get the better of. This supposition had been turned on its head earlier that night, however, in a mere handful of minutes. For all of his bluster, Meek's father was only human. He was made of flesh and blood, just like Meek, and when cut, he bled. He had bled a lot, in fact. All over the plush, upholstered seats of their carriage and onto the floor. His fine clothes had been stained black with the stuff, and the air had stunk of it, sharp and metallic. Meek could smell her father's blood on her even now, as she and Henny raced through the forest. She couldn't forget it, however much she wished to. Oh, if only the events of that night had been nothing more than a bad dream. Meek wished that the fog would clear and she would awake, her eyelids fluttering to discover herself sitting once more in her bed, in her home, the room flooded with pale sunlight. Meek! But Meek's surroundings did not shift. The trees continued to press in about her as though they meant to eat her alive. I am obsessed with the foley work going on here. All the plant life and the animals that we can hear in the background as this all goes on. It's so good. Their shadowy pursuers were beginning to close in on them. Meek knew she had no hope of outrunning them. She was flagging, her heart hammering in the base of her throat. What would happen when Meek was not so optimistic to hope for an if? They caught her. What would they do to Henny? The thought was almost more than Meek could bear. Really does set the scene. Yes! This is one of her more recent ones, and it's just... I love seeing her, like, refining the art form that she is dealt. Like, Ebihime doesn't do the actual artwork, but she kind of refines. She's like, she writes it, she codes it, she makes it all happen. She commissions artwork for it, that's all. But, she's really refined the whole makeup of the situation, and it's incredible. Like, I'm thinking back to her early ones, and I'm like, this is such an upgrade. Not that her early ones are bad, obviously, but God, the progress is immense, and I love seeing artistic growth like this. It's beautiful, really. It had been bad enough to lose her parents, but to lose Henny too? Why, she had done nothing wrong. Unlike Meek, Henny was no lady. She was just a maid. She was only being targeted because of her relationship to Meek and her family. Had Henny been travelling alone, she would have passed through the forest quite unscathed. It wasn't as though Henny had any valuables upon her person that were worth the effort of pilfering. Henny! Meek appealed to her maid between sharp gasps of air which pierced her lungs as keenly as knitting needles. Am I saying her name right? Meek? Hang on. I just came to the thought that I might be saying her name wrong, and that is driving me insane. Hang on, Chad. Meek. Pronunciation. It's Micah! Ah! I'm a sham! I'm nothing! Also, it's Dutch apparently, which is really interesting. Put me into the guillotine, chat. I've fucked up in pronunciation of someone's name. I'm only partially joking, that does really bug me. I'm usually better at that sort of thing. Although I don't have much experience in Dutch. I'm not too mad at myself, but I am a little bit mad. Wouldn't have guessed it's how it's pronounced either. I understand that, Ussie. But I am a bitch to myself in every way that doesn't matter. Don't beat yourself up too much. It's okay, I can already feel myself moving on. Micah appealed to her maid. It does sound better, actually, now that I say it. Micah. That does sound way better and more natural. Meek doesn't feel right. Yeah, Micah, that works better. Ugh. God. Micah appealed to her maid between sharp gasps of air which pierced her lungs as keenly as knitting needles. Ugh. Chat. I'm fucking losing it over the writing style. Ugh. Every time I read a descriptive sentence of Epihime's writing, I go, ugh. Oh my god. Please, let me go. Leave me be. I'm just slowing you down. I don't care. I'm not leaving you behind. But there aren't any buts. I told you I won't leave you. Now let's keep running. Henny's so fucking cool. Girl, Henny, I love you. Mix makes you think of the Game of Thrones character. Glad that wasn't that in the end. I'm not familiar with Game of Thrones. I'm gonna be real. Is there a character named Meek in Game of Thrones? Because that's insane. Although that does sound like Game of Thrones. From the spurious cultural osmosis I've experienced with the series. There aren't any buts. I told you I won't leave you. Now let's keep running. Micah wanted to run. Really, she did, but her body had already begun to give in. Chat, I fear that I'm already looking at their titties. I'm sorry, they're so bountiful. They're so bountiful! He's a character, sad story. Of course he is with that kind of name. I know how George R. R. Martin thinks, even if I don't read his work. You're so real for that, though. I may be a lesbian. That's it, that's the sentence. I may be a lesbian. Her heart, like, Henny, girl. There is no supporting garment that could support that woman. Except my hands, maybe, but that's another tangent. Her heart might have been pumping, fit to burst at the base of her throat, but her legs were weak despite the excess blood which filled her, and her hand in Henny's felt cold and clammy. Oh, I've been there. Gonna make that joke if you didn't. I have to tell you, I make a lot of horny jokes. Don't worry. I will cover that. I will cover that spectrum for you. You don't need to worry. I've got you. I'm there for you. I may be asexual, but that don't mean I'm not going to make horny ass jokes. Also, I've been there, Micah. I've been there. I remember doing... there was like cross-country days we were forced to do in high school, where you had to like run. Well, we were jogging, let's be real. No one was actually running except the fucking overachievers. We had to jog the whole massive area, and it was like cross-country, so the ground wasn't even. Either just like fucked up and evil, but we had to do it. Hi, Wolfie! Weren't you here earlier? Why are you screaming at me now? You screamed at me earlier. What's going on? Hello? The screamer. You look so cute. I do, don't I? I look so cute. And I'm totally adorable. This is what I'm gonna look for like for a while until I get another upgrade. I've been considering where I want to go next with my design, with my base design anyway. So this is a fun in-between moment. This is my fun kitty girl arc that you'll get to enjoy, which is actually really cool and normal because I do like saying nya. I feel no embarrassment for doing that. I feel none. So it actually works really well for me. I could say nya. I actually did say nya for over an hour during my subathon and I felt nothing. I just got annoyed when I accidentally didn't do it and I had to reset the timer because I was like, damn it, I have to pick up my phone and click the timer button. So adorable, thank you. Shout out again to my mod, to my model mama, Squishy, who I've pinned the link to her VGen. She recommended a great rigger for me to work with, and because I wasn't, my budget was a bit generous this time around, so I was able to just, granted I was incredibly broke after I made that commission payment, but hey, I look at how good I look, it's worth it. And I move now. I'm all bouncy and cute. But yeah, I used to, we were forced to do cross country in high school. Oh my god, there's one section of the cross country where we had to like run along like an actual public road on the pavement, on the sidewalk. And there was this one gym teacher who we all fucking hated. No one liked her. No one at all liked her. And she would be in her car. She would drive along upside you and say, hey! Because some people would take that chance to walk because no one was looking at them because they were outside of school at that point. So she would come alongside people who were walking, which was usually me. And she'd be like, hey, you're meant to be running. And every single person wished they had the courage to tell her, why aren't you running? You're in your fucking car, you lazy bitch. Including me. I wish I said that. I still wish I said that. I don't care if I would have gotten written up for it. She's a dim teacher and she's being an absolute hypocrite. That's terrible. Yeah, fucking high school sucked. I don't miss it at all. I know there's people who miss high school and I can't relate ever. I think the only thing about high school that was like semi-okay was that like we were forced to socialize and like that was good for us. Because we are forced to socialize regularly and it was good for our brains to socialize regularly. And that is something that we have to like make ourselves do nowadays. But the people I socialized with sucked and didn't know me as a person. So, I mean, hey. You had an old football coach in high school that would travel around in a golf cart during practice. Oh, I hate him. Boy, I would have popped his tires. What the fuck? But yeah, I have felt that very real like exhaustion that Micah is feeling, where you feel like you're just about to fuck, your whole body is about to collapse because you've done so much. She had exhausted all of her energy simply in escaping from the carriage where her parents' bodies lay. Now she would die, only a few hundred paces away from their final resting place. Would her mutilated carcass be discovered in the days hence and taken back to her family's home? Would she and her parents be embalmed and sealed away within their mausoleum? Embalming is so interesting, chat. Embalming is so weird and interesting. We really said, I want our bodies to never age when we're dead. I want our bodies to look exactly the same as they were when we buried them. And we thought that was natural and normal of us. We thought that was the same thing. Shale! Love the new look. Thank you. This is kind of an in-between model until I get ideas for my new design. Because I've had a bit of progress and I would like to sort of update my look. My OG sort of base design. But I'm still a doll. I'm just Oh, thank you for the head pats. I appreciate it a lot. Embalming is very weird. I am a big fan of giving bodies back to the earth in various ways. Like, I wouldn't mind being like the source of food for a tree. That would be really cool. I would love that. Genuinely. I think that would be awesome. Stretchies? Oh, thank you for the stretchies. Oh, thank you. It's lovely seeing you, Shale. Guys, I love Shale. Did you know I love Shale? You want to be buried with a tree? Maggie? We should... Maggie. What if we held hands and we were buried under the same tree and we were both girls? XOXO. Oh, Shale. I can't... Yeah, I love you too. Your Shale is incredibly cool, and I'm glad I've gotten to know her. Shale enjoys Digimon, and she has gotten me into the idea of like playing some of the spookier Digimon games. One day. Yes, Maggie, it would be so like cute of us to do that. We should totally do that. Micah did not much like this thought. Her family's mausoleum was a terrifying place full of somber stone angels and spiderwebs. It was quiet, being situated among tall trees, but its quietude was not at all relaxing. Its quiet was a deep, fathomless silence of death. Micah did not want to die. She knew not how she would continue to live on, with both her parents slaughtered before her very eyes. But she did not want to succumb as they had in this forest full of fog. She wanted to go on living for her sake and for Henny's. Though not necessarily for Walter's. God, they're getting closer. We need to keep running. Come on, Micah. But like the guttering flame of a candle, the last of her energy had been expended. Micah's foot caught in a tangled tree root which jutted from the ground like a bear trap, and she fell. Her hand, which was slick with sweat, slipped free from Henny's. She reached out, searching for her loyal maid through the fog, but to little avail. Micah! Henny's voice echoed in Micah's ears, shrill and frantic. Micah's heart jutted in her chest hard, as though meaning to stop altogether, but it did little good. Her head smacked against the ground with a dull, anticlimactic thud. Micah's teeth bit against her tongue. She tasted copper. Her vision swam. Micah! Oh God, Micah, get up! Please get up! Ambag got called out for not being in your stream chat. Omni! Who called you out? I gotta know. I gotta know who's fucking up. Who's going for you? Because I don't think I did it. I don't think I did it this time. Who got you? I see. Ah. Yeah, fucking get him. For the supposed Priscilla mega fan, he just wasn't there. It's crazy. And then everything went black. Act 1, the night that never ended. Ooh, spooky. Oh, pretty lady. Oh, that's Micah. Hey, you were here at the beginning of the stream, just got called to eat. Oh, what did you eat? What were you eating? Come on, tell the chat. What were you eating? Also, Micah's really cute. I think that's the redhead from the title screen. It must be. Oh, rice and chicken. I can't eat rice anymore. Rice gave me... I've become rice intolerant. It sucks. What have we here? I finally found you live. Hi! How you doing, Blacktastic? Welcome to my model debut and a Yuri visual novel with vampires. Finally croaking up in the energy drink. I'm totally healthy, guys. I promise. Yeah, my lifetimes are very irregular. I need to figure out, like, usually I'm alive at like this sort of time-ish. But we've been a bit fucky-wucky. I need to pick my actual consistent days as well, because I don't think I've been doing that very consistently. It looks fabulous. Thank you. My model mama is pinned, if you're curious. She hooked me up with a rigger that she said would be really good with her models' layouts and the way she cuts them. So I look really good and flowy and expressive. But you know, shout out to my cool ass model mama. I'm literally allergic to not promoting her all the time. It's crazy. What? Micah was greeted upon waking by a dull, crushing pain that gripped her skull like a vice. A brackish taste akin to pond water filled her mouth, and with one hand clasped to her head, she coughed. Micah's body shuddered and her lungs burned. It took a minute before her coughing fit subsided, but once it did, Micah began to glance uneasily around her surroundings. She hoped that her immediate surroundings might shed some light upon her predicament, but her hopes were in vain. You looked into making models at one point, but it was just simpler for me to show my face. I'm in a nutshell too lazy. Honestly, fair. Flesh tubers are valid. I mostly have a model because I like cute designs. Oh no, your phone's gonna die, Maggie? Oh no! Betrayal! I'll wait for you. In spirit, I'll wait for her, but I will continue playing the game. I wear a model because it was really fun designing a character. It's a lot easier for me to enjoy myself and like be myself fully when I'm wearing a mask, if that makes sense. Like, I'm very autistic, so it kind of clicks. It was really fun designing myself and making up various alternative looks that I have on the back burner. I do have an autistic brain and an autistic brain combo deal. Thank you for the hydrate, Omni. And honestly, I didn't want to have to, because as a femme streamer, autistic, yes, Psycho, you and me, combo deal. Hi, Psycho, by the way. As a femme streamer, we've kind of have this expectations to look cute at all times, to look perfect. And that would actually be more work for me to show my face. Like, IRL right now, I'm just wearing like a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm not, sorry for breaking the immersion, but if I were to stream with my face, I would have to have a full face of makeup. I would have to have my hair done up perfectly. And I would have to not show an ounce of fat if I wanted to not have people being shitty to me as an IRL streamer and being a femme. With level with you, I don't think like 80% of the internet actually wants to see other human beings live. I don't know. I do enjoy seeing IRL people. I see a lot of. I do enjoy it. Nah, go gremlin mode. I appreciate the support, Omni, but the fact is a lot of people just aren't that cool with women being messy. Even I'm technically not a woman, I am non-binary, but I do present very femme, so I understand that that's how I would read. But the fact is that as cool as you guys are, I'm not looking to risk it. Very pretty and smooth model, and I'm surprised your computer is cooperating. I am too! Bitch, what the fuck? I guess we're just lucky. I guess I'm just lucky. Yeah, it's very unfair. Yeah, I see. It's dog shit. It's very unfortunate. I don't mind seeing like fan art of myself being a gremlin though. If you guys wanted to ever draw me in just sweatpants and a hoodie, I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah. That's totally fine with me. It's just actual streaming and my depictions while streaming. I have to be kind of I have to keep in character. You know, I've got like a character vibe. And I can confirm Priscilla is a fan of fans. I love having fans. I love having people who are like into me, you know? It's cool. I like it. Fuels my ego. Don't worry, guys. I actually have a very healthy ego. I mostly put on a front. I'm a very grounded person, honestly. I like being silly. She hoped that her immediate surroundings might shed some light upon her predicament, but her hopes were in vain. Micah had no idea where she was. The floor upon which she was sitting, but why was she sitting on the floor of all things, was made of stone, which felt hard and cold and uncompromising. Eh? Who subbed? Who subbed? What? It's not showing up in chat. Chat, I don't know who subbed because it's not showing up for me. I fear I appreciate it, but I don't know who it was. Are you gonna go consume entirely too much roast beef and lurk? Understandable. Very fair. Oh, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Oh, there it is. Took a minute, didn't it? But I appreciate it a lot. Thank you all. You only get one of those, don't you? And you gave it to me. Wow! The walls, too, were made of stone, as was the ceiling, which felt very far away. A wooden cot was pushed up close against one of the walls. But it was so steeped in shadows Mike could hardly make it out. Oh! Thank you for gifting us up to Asi. That's so cool. Congratulations, Asi. Oh fuck, wait, hang on. We're in a hype train? What? What? Hang on. Guys, throw biddies or subs or whatever to get your exclusive emote. Do it. Trust me, I don't have ulterior motives, I promise. Me, who often throws out random subs to hype trains because I want to collect all the emotes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it a lot. It's very cool. A wooden cot was pushed up close against one of the... Oh, okay. Okay, I see. My prompting worked. Thank you for gifting subs to Tempe and Endeavour, Omni. Much appreciated. Very cool. You guys completed level 1. Woo! Ah, welcome back, Mickey. A wooden cot was... Let's see if I can finish the sentence this time. A wooden cot was pushed up close against one of the walls, but it was so steeped in shadows, Micah could scarcely make it out. There was a chamber pot lying by the cot which she did not care to examine too closely, but its rim and sides was stained with caked-on flesh. Filth. Caked-on flesh would be very different. I'm a bit shaken up, I must admit. Shale, thank you for subscribing! I appreciate it a lot. Very, very kind. A truly unpleasant odour exuded from the chamber pot, which made Micah's eyes sting. It was fortunate that she had no immediate desire to relieve herself, for she had no wish to use this commode. Yes, Endeavour, you can spin now! Chat, everyone can spin now. Everyone who gets subscribed can spin. It's so magical. Ah, and they can do cheering too. The magic of subscribing. A quick examination of the room, though, really it was more like a cell, showed Micah that save for the cot and the chamber pot, it was utterly desolate. Well, I've got to be real, Micah. That's kind of all you need for a cell. Especially in this time period. Like, a prisoner's cell is different because they have laws and legalities, but this is kind of an illegal operation. It's fine. This is all you need. There was no other furniture to be seen. No shelves, no cupboards, nor even a proper bed. Okay, that is a bit odd. Not even like some straw on the floor for you to lie on. That would be nice. There was no mirror either, so Micah could not see herself. Perhaps this was a blessing in disguise. Micah doubted she would be at her best, given she was in so much pain, and she was so very exhausted. You gave me a little tail, hang on. That is the Tane tail, I knew it. I could tell by the sparkles. Ah, little tail emote. That's so cute. I love that you gave me a little tail. Ah! She was so cold she could feel goosebumps rippling across her flesh and her teeth were chattering badly. Oh! And you made me squish her. I could actually do that. I have her plushie. I could squish her right now. You got a plushie yesterday? Hell yeah! It's a really good quality plushie, honestly. It's a very impressive. Low-key. Low-key? I would love to... It would be really an honor to be on her merch site one day. Like, she... Don't the plush? Why not? It's funny. Your mum wants it? It's a really cute plushie. I completely understand that. And the design... Her design is iconic. To me. Like, it's so well designed. It's just so well put together. Completely perfect. No notes, you know? Her teeth were chattering badly. I'm so distractible today. Chat, how could you? Micah wound her arms about her middle and shivered sadly. As opposed to shivering happily? That's a really nice blue on her. I like that dress. Especially with the collar. It was not only the chamber pot that stank, the very air itself was rank, heavy with the stench of unwashed bodies and general decay. This room. No. She was sure that this was a cell, reeked of death. How had she come to such a place? You like the red of her hair and the blue? It's a great combo, isn't it? Oh, congrats everyone! Congrats on your exclusive emotes. Oh, that's a cute one. Hang on. I get it for free because I'm special. It's a little cheering one. You also just like red hair in general? Honestly, same. Red hair is really nice. I'm not biased. Red hair is very pleasant. It has a... It's not just like... I know people like red hairs because they're like, oh, it's sexy. I like red hair as well because it's kind of cozy and warm. It makes me think of warm things. It's nice. It's comfortable. How had she come to such a place? What had happened to her? Micah could remember sitting alongside her mother and father in the carriage as it bore them through the forest. And then... there at this most pivotal of moments, her memories failed her. Micah could recall nothing else. Had her parents been there, they would have given her instructions. They always seemed to know what Micah ought to be doing at any given time. But they were not there, and neither was Henny. Micah was all alone. Your cousin has read her, your muttered jelly of those gorgeous locks. Shale! Shale, I gotta tell you something. You can dye your hair. I've actually been thinking about dyeing my hair red recently. IRL me. IRL me doesn't have red hair. I actually got the red hair idea from my mother because when I was a lot younger, a lot of people said I didn't look like my mother because I didn't have hair like hers. So I wanted to have hair like hers in my character. But I've been thinking, I went through a period where I would dye my hair a lot of crazy colors, so I've been going through a period of letting it become healthy again, and I've been thinking about dyeing it red. Now it's all happy again. And I've been wondering about Do I do it like my VTuber read, or do I do it like my mother? I've been thinking, I've been kind of landing on doing it like my mother's read here, which is very similar to Micah's read, but a bit darker. Micah was all alone. Henny had been with her, Micah was certain, before. Before what? Why could she not remember anything? Oh, Micah thought sorrowfully, if only she was made of stone. Then perhaps her head would not hurt so much. It really did feel that her skull might explode, not from the pain, though the pain still remained, but from raw, unbridled fear. Micah had often dreamed of stealing away from her parents' home to embark upon a brand new life, unfettered by expectations. But she had never wished for this. Tears began to trickle down Micah's cheeks in crystalline droplets. They scored tracks in the dirt which caked her cheeks and dropped one by one to the floor. Her head bowed, fingers splayed against the stones. Micah sobbed and sobbed until... What? What's going on? A soft voice spoke from amongst the teeming shadows. Henny! Oh my god, it's Henny! She's okay! Guys! Our girl with the massive bosom is okay. Everything is safe in this world. Everything is beautiful. The bajonkas are safe. Micah could not see the speaker. She could scarcely see it all given the darkness and now her own tears. But she recognized its familiar cadences. The voice belonged to Henny. Micah's dear friend was here too, in this stone cell which smelt of death. And though Micah feared for Henry, she could feel relief bubbling up inside her. She was not alone after all. Henny? Micah crawled forth on her hands and knees, being too exhausted to stand, and stared into the shadows. Henny, is that you? Micah? Ah. Don't worry, chat, the boobs are safe. 3 chairs all around. There is beauty in this world. The boobs are safe. I fear I am a lesbian. A shaft of moonlight spilled through the singular barred window, hewn high into the wall of their cell, and finally, Micah was afforded a view of her maid. Though christened Henrique, Henrica? Micah had always called her beloved maid Henny. It seemed a much more appropriate name for so cheery a woman, for Henny, come rain or shine, was rarely seen without a smile. Henny was not smiling now, however. She was sitting upon the wooden cot which Mike had first spied, her head bent. Henny's face looked woefully weary, and it had lost much of its usual pinkness. Her apron, once white, now sullied and stained with dirt. Henny's shoes had been black and sensible, but now they were mired in filth, and her socks were rucked up about her ankles. Henny's hands, which she held at her front, were trembling like those of a woman thrice her age. She looked an awful sight, but Micah knew she could hardly have been any better herself. Henny's hair might have been a mess, but at least she kept it short. There was not so very much of Henny's dark tresses to be worked into a state of disorder. Micah's own hair, meanwhile, was very long and curly, and though she had worn it in a chignon, she could now feel it straggling loosely about her shoulders. The back of her neck prickled, either from the cold or from a dislodged hairpin or two. Perhaps that was why Henny was stared at Micah so, once she had regained her own sense of equilibrium, as though she had seen a ghost. My God, Micah! Henny looked so alarmed Micah felt almost ashamed. Micah was no stranger to shame. She felt it frequently, in fact, when she was with her mother. But it really raised its ugly head in Henny's presence. Since Micah's girlhood, Henny had been her one staunch, steadfast companion. She was the only person Micah knew who took Micah for who she was, rather than wishing, often aloud to her face, that she could be more appreciative, more amenable, more effusive, more like a lady and less like herself. Henny didn't want Micah to be more. She only wanted Micah to be Micah. Did that mean then that Micah did not look like Micah in that moment? But who else did she resemble if not herself? What had happened to her? Are you alright, Micah? Oh, look at your poor face. Henny rose from the wooden cot which creaked and crouched before her friend. Reaching out, still shaking, she cupped Micah's cheeks in her fingers and said, "You're bleeding." "I am?" "Yes, you've a nasty cut beneath your right eye and your cheek." Henny sucked in a breath, her expression grim. "It's all banged up. You're positively black and blue." "Oh, hadn't realised. I'm sorry, Henny." "What?" Henny, who had procured a handkerchief from her shirt pocket, it fortunately wasn't dirty, paused in her dabbing at Micah's face to look at her with bemusement. "Why are you apologising to me, you daft goose? You've nothing to feel sorry for." I don't know. I'm just sorry for making you worry, I suppose." "Oh my god, Micah!" "We gotta teach this woman about feminism." "Oh, think naught of it. It's my job to worry about you. I'm your maid, remember?" "Well, of course I remember that much. My thoughts might be in a state of disarray for the present, but I would never forget you." We need to teach this woman about self-esteem. "You are much more than my maid, Henny. You're my friend too. My dearest friend. And I could very well say the same about you. That's why it hurts seeing you in such a frightful state." "Do I look so very bad?" "Well, now." Henny scanned Micah's face, her brown eyes now bright with mischief. "That depends on how honest you want me to be." "Oh dear. Do I look as bad as all that?" "You've certainly looked better. Your face is as banged up as a windfall apple." "An apple?" Micah shook her head in wonderment. "I only hope that the apple isn't riddled with worms. I don't think you've anything to worry about on that score, at least." "Well, that is a relief. I suppose things could always be worse." "Right you are. That's the spirit. You're still alive and so am I, and we're together. That ought to count for something, although..." Henny finished wiping the worst of the congealed blood and muck from Micah's cheek, then drew back, her soiled kerchief gripped tight in her hand, her expression newly dour, as she said after a moment's pause, "I am afraid that your parents mightn't have been so fortunate." "What?" Micah's heart leaped in her chest at this sombre announcement. "What happened to them, Henny? Do you know what's going on?" "You don't?" "I recall that we were travelling to Augsburg to visit my fiancé. But as for how we came here..." Micah closed her eyes in the hope of remembering something, but again, nothing came. Her mind remained stubbornly blank, as featureless as a snowy field, all flora blanketed in untrammeled whiteness. Trembled? That's a new word for me. Hang on, chat. Trembled. Trembled. Is this from the same artist that did that one fan with the bad ending you showed us? It's the same writer, and she commissioned the same artist as that visual novel, yes. Trembled. Tremble. Untremble. Oh, not restricted. Like unheld back. Okay. I'm afraid I cannot remember. Not a single thing? Like the writer for a lot of the visual novels I enjoy, she commissions various artists. So she commissioned the same artist as Salome's Kiss for this game. Yes. Nothing. I see. Henny grit her teeth together for a few moments, her eyes dark. She seemed to be weighing up her words as a baker might measure out flour and sugar before speaking. That's not such a surprise, I suppose. You hit your head pretty hard back there. It might be for the best that you can't remember all of the gory details. I wish I could forget what happened myself, but... Henny's voice trailed away as awkwardly she gripped her kerchief. That kerchief had been the only clean thing in Micah and Henny's cell, but now it too was ruined, streaked with brown and red. How deep was the cut that Micah had sustained, and how much had she bled? This too remained a mystery. Micah did not know. There seemed much all of a sudden she was ignorant of. She felt so very unworldly she might as well have been a little girl again, enthused after she had successfully stolen the key to her family's mausoleum. Micah had not known, as she stood in the chill entrance of the mausoleum, that she was about to lower herself in a subterranean world of death and decay, though part of her had wondered. Henny. Micah took Henny's hand in her own, her cracked fingernails digging into her skin. What happened? Tell me, please. I want to know. Yes, I thought you might. That does make things a mite complicated, though. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Just promise you won't take against me for what I'm about to tell you. I've gone through a lot tonight already, and that would be the straw to break the camel's back. Henny, please, you should know that is a trivial concern. I'm fully aware that none of this is your fault. You've only ever sought to protect me. I have no better friend than you, not in all the world. And it's precisely because I want to protect you that I don't want to go into all this. I know it'll upset you, Christ. It upsets me too. It's an upsetting situation all around. Oh, slacker, you've been made to suffer? How so? Famous last words? Yeah, oh, Micah's having a bad fucking day, and so is Henny. Too much roast beef? Sir, you control how much food goes in the mouth. Okay? You control that, okay? You're fine. It's all you. You put yourself in this hellhole of your own making. But it was roast beef? Even so. It's rotten, really. What food people are capable of, but... Henny paused. She sucked in a breath, and in a calmer tone she said, Just how much do you want to know? How much is there to know? Oh, I remember everything. I'll always remember tonight, I expect. Make quite the impression horrible things always do. Oh dear, are things truly that dire? They're... pretty bad, yes. Give me an abridged account then. I've no need to hear everything. Right you are. Hi, Zach! Yes! My model mama fucking killed it! And she hooked me up with a rigger that knows her models well, so I'm flowy and gorgeous, and I can make faces now. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance, 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 and I dance, dance, dance. Cats. I'm a kitty cat. Henny bowed her head in acquiescence, her face half swallowed by the shadows. The beam of light which had penetrated the drab cell had long since been extinguished, the moon obscured beneath the rolling fog. Got to update the fan at some point now, so thanks for that. I wouldn't be mad about more fan art at all, Zach. You know that. Yes, bitch, slay. Yes! We fucking slay. We slay. The boots down, honey. We slay. We slay in really funny ways that aren't violent. Slay. Priscilla? I love it. Priscilla. Oh. I'm Priscilla. Oh, that's so good. That's too good, in fact. Yeah. Because Micah's all bloody, I'm gonna get bloody too. Yeah. Oh, what if we did this too? This is fun. This is perfect for reading time, actually, because I enjoy reading. Yeah. You should know I'm good at punning names. You are, and yet every single time I go, wow, how'd you do that? Yeah. You have to go to the food bank and last minute when I dropped in while I had time and say good morning and check shit out. That's so cool. I hope you find lots of yummy yummies at the food bank. It was nice seeing you. With the blood, you look like you're just going, who did this? Who did this? Was it me? Couldn't be me. Random book line? Okay. Yeah. Random book line. We're kind of already reading, but I will acquiesce. Oh, plus check, thank you. Okay, we read something spooky because it's fun. It's spooky month. Okay, this is a paragraph from Fluids by May Leeds. You may have heard me read lines from this before, and that's because I'm obsessed with her work. I know no one is in this hotel. I know I can do whatever I want and no one will hear me, but I don't know if I can go through with it while Lauren screams. I can't imagine stabbing her over and over. It would take so many cuts. I'll have to cover her face with a pillow and strangle her. Gurgling I can handle. If I can stop her screaming, I think I can kill her. I fucking love May Leeds books. I need to get a new one. I recently heard that there's a new one. Called, hang on. Very spooky. She's so good. I recently learned that there's a new one called Angels. And I really need it, because of course I do. I'm a sane person about the things I enjoy, and it's okay. It was so cold in their cell, Micah could not cease her shivers. Even her teeth felt cold, like shards of ice implanted into her gums. Henny's proximity served as something of a comfort, but it could not rid Micah of her trepidation. She knew once Henny relayed the past events to her, life would no longer be the same. Everything would change. It was changing already, in fact. So quickly that Micah hardly had a chance to gather her bearings. She felt lost, adrift, and hopelessly afraid. I'm sorry to tell you this, Micah, but during our travels, the carriage, it was attacked by bandits. What? No. Yes, they came creeping up from the fog like, I don't know, monsters from a children's story maybe, but much scarier. They waylaid the carriage, then stormed it. They drew out their daggers and threatened your father, and when he refused to comply, well, Henny's expression twisted. They stabbed him. What? Micah stared. She had expected as much before Henny began her gruesome tale, but the news still shook her. Evidently, she had not been half so prepared to hear the worst as she had imagined. Oh God, not my papa. My poor papa. Don't tell me he didn't. I'm sorry, but Henny sniffed. It's as you're probably suspecting. His wound was a deep one and he died. Dead? My papa dead? Dead as a door now, I'm afraid. I didn't hang around to see what had happened like, but, well, it was all over so quickly I don't think he suffered at least. And my mama? What of her? Don't tell me she also... Henny didn't reply, but the discomfort which crossed her face left Micah with no doubts as to her mother's fate. In one brief night, both of Micah's parents had been slaughtered. Ah. Dang, double homicide. Sorry. Bad joke. I'm just realizing that you probably don't know the reference I just made, and that means my joke is meaningless. Oops. Now she was an orphan. And what of us, Henny? How did we escape? I find it hard to believe the bandits would just let us go. Oh, I'm sure we would have joined your parents if we'd sat still like good little girls, but I didn't want to do that. I took your hand while they were busy with your mother and we ran away. Oh, thank you for the stretchies, Omni. We fled through the woods, but the damn bandits took chase pretty darn quick. It was very dark and the fog was thick. And I could hardly see what was happening. Yes, Endeavour has given Henny a treat, although I have yet to actually meet that quota. I probably will do that after stream. I want to focus on us today, chat. You know? It's about us. It's about you and me. At one point you tripped and you fell. That's how you got that nasty cut on your poor forehead, and I was dragged down with you. Yeah, you get it, Maggie. Today's a special day. Henny will get her treat, but it probably won't be during stream. We lay there on the ground in the dirt while the bandits tramped about looking for us. I figured we were both a couple of goners. I'd started saying my prayers to the Lord Almighty, but then... we survived. Yes, we survived. This, Micah supposed, was not such a surprise. It went without saying, really, that they survived. Otherwise, they would not have been sitting in this ghastly cell, speaking to one another. Either the bandits had spared them, which seemed unlikely, or somebody had come to their defense. Who would have been wandering the woods so very late at night, however? Micah could hardly credit it. Their escape must have been the stuff that fantasies were made of. Do you know how we escaped, Henny? I know what my eyes saw. But if my eyes can be trusted or not, well, that's another matter altogether. I think I might have bumped my head myself. It was all so peculiar. At the time it seemed like a miracle, but looking back on it, that ain't the right word. Ah, I'm getting so many head pats today. My fur's gonna be all ruffled. Miracles suggest God and all his angels, but there was nought holy about this. I love saying that, nout. Nout. It's very fun. I wonder about the etymology of that word. It was a right proper mess, really. A total bloodbath. But blood? Yes, there was blood, and lots of it. Oh my god, Henny. Just give me one chance. Just give me one fucking chance. I know this game is about Micah, but give me one chance, Henny. One chance. I won't screw it up, I swear to God. It's hard for me to explain, but all I know is one moment we were sprawled upon the dirt, you unconscious, I half out of my mind with fright as the bandits approached. And the next, they were gone. Gone? But where and how? Did they run away? Not necessarily, not of their own free will. The fog parted, you see, and then this figure. This woman. She appeared so quick, it was like she'd sprung up from the earth. She wasn't very tall, I don't think she was at least, and she was very skinny. But the way she looked, the way she moved, there was something unnatural about her. I didn't get a very good look at what happened next, but I saw her go after those bandits. I think there were at least 4 of them, that woman soon took care of them. There was so much blood and a lot of mud. It stunk to high heaven, it did. Brought tears to my eyes. Thank you for the hydrate. I surely needed it after thirsting after Henny for so much of this time. I surely need it. Henny, girl, it doesn't help that she's in a maid outfit. I'm gonna be real with you, chat. My tastes are very known. Gotta get some eeps. Give some headpats to Henny for me, please. Will do. It was nice seeing you, Maggie. Thank you for popping in. That woman, though. The woman in white. She didn't seem fussed at all. Now, wearing white to a bloodbath is a real odd choice. You're gonna get blood all over your nice outfit. That's hard to get out. Of course, take care. Yeah, you too. She stood there once she had finished beneath the moon like nothing had happened, and then... Henny pressed her fingers to her brow and, overwhelmed, shook her head. I don't remember anything after that. I think I must have fainted. When I finally woke up, I found myself here. It was your crying that woke me up. I've never been able to rest easy while you're in tears, Micah. Yes, I know. You've always been so good and so kind. Thank you, Henny. Micah chanced to smile, though the muscles about her mouth felt atrophied, worn away following the news of her parents' demise. I've no idea what I would do without you. It sounds like you saved me. From the bandits, I suppose I did. But I wasn't much use when you took that nasty spill. There's no way I would have been able to carry you to safety. Not when we were all turned about in the woods and I have no idea where we were. I think I scraped my own shin too. My ankle aches. Would have been gone as if that woman hadn't appeared. But now that I'm talking about it, it doesn't sound real. I can't think of any woman who would be able to beat 4 men in tests of strength. Not even your own Mademoiselle Blanchard. Micah's smile widened at this. Despite the severity of their situation, she was even able to manage a laugh. It was a weak laugh, which contained little in the way of mirth, but it was sincere. Henny never failed to cheer up. She must have had a knack for it. Micah was too old to believe in magic, but when she was with Henny, she sometimes wondered. Are you sure it was a woman who fended off those bandits? Perhaps it was some sort of animal instead, and you failed to perceive it in the fog. That could be it. Like I said, my mind's a mess. I feel like I've lost a good 10 years of my life, although. Here Henny smiled grimly in the manner of all survivors after witnessing something horrid. That's better than having it cut short altogether. We must be thankful for small mercies, yes, even if our lives were saved at my parents' expense. Micah squeezed her eyes shut. She could feel tears beading upon her lashes anew, but this time she was able to subdue them. Ugh, tripping over my words. The news of her parents' deaths was a heavy burden to bear, but Micah, not having witnessed their final moments, found it hard to imagine. It still did not seem quite real. It's hard to imagine death when you've never seen it. That's true. The shock of it all, perhaps, had blunted her senses. It would take a while for her parents' passing to truly register. When it did, however, Micah did not doubt the tears would come, thicker and faster than before. It had not always been so, but her childhood misadventures in her family's crypt had left her something of a crybaby. Now then. Micah inhaled, then glanced about. What do you suppose we are, and how do you suppose we got here? That's a good question. I've been wondering that myself. It's not the nicest of digs, is it? Not particularly, no. It's awfully drab, and it's damp too. I'm freezing. You poor thing, you. Come here. Henny shifted closer to Micah, then drew her arms about her. Holding her close, she then glanced about. Both maid and mistress squinted into the shadows as though they might unearth some secret way of escaping. A trapdoor, perhaps? Or a hidden passageway? But to Micah's disappointment, she found the cell quite unchanged. It was every bit as sparse as she recalled. The shadows did little to mask this fact, and still it stank. Goodness me, it's not much to look at, is it? We might as well be in a prison cell. I think that might be what this is. Henny drew back from Micah, her legs crossed beneath her upon the stone floor, and frowned. I reckon you're right. I wonder who brought us here. You and me both. It was nice of a mysterious benefactor or benefactress to rescue us, though they can't be all that kind if they're going to let us suffer in here. You'd think they could at least have put us up in a nicer room. I'm not expecting first-class accommodations, but you deserve better than this, Micah. This place isn't fit for rats, let alone people. It's all right. Are you being serious? Henny raised an eyebrow while Micah smiled. It's better than being dead, at least, even if these lodgings are a mite uncomfortable. Only a mite? Well, quite a bit, if I'm being honest. Micah drew her arms about her legs, her knees beneath her chin, and said, When I woke up, I was lying on the floor. On the floor? I love Henny. I love her so much. Oh, Henny. Henny's eyebrows shot up her forehead until they met her hairline. The gesture was so exaggerated it managed to bring another smile to Micah's lips, despite how very dire their situation was. I suppose it makes sense there being only one bed, but oh, that is too much. I can't believe they'd fling you about like a sack of spuds. Many unbelievable things have happened tonight. Our benefactor must have been bucking the trend. Some benefactor. When I get my hands on them, I'll give them what for. Don't, Henny. It wouldn't do to pick a fight with whoever brought us here. I wouldn't want to anger them, not when we are at their mercy. Why, but that makes us sound like captives. Is that not what we are? This is a cell after all, and we have no means of escaping. We're being treated like prisoners. I know, but it still stings. I don't care about me, but I don't want to see you being treated like a convict. Not when you've been through so much. You've been through worse. At least I don't remember what happened, unlike you. And you're the one who'll be saddled with the consequences, poor Micah. It was your parents, not mine, who were... Well... I don't suspect there's much point in trying to suss out who's suffering more than who. As it stands, we're both in this together. I won't abandon you, Micah, so try not to worry. Keep your chin up. We'll get through this. Thank you, Henny. I almost believe it coming from you. You should. I don't say things I don't mean, you know. Woman after my own heart. She's so cool. Relatable queen. Now let's see. Maybe things aren't as dire as they look. There could be a way to escape yet. Has anyone tried the door? It may be unlocked. It may have been unlocked this whole time and we were just being dramatic. Henny rose to her feet, though unsteadily, and did a circuit of the cell. The shadows made it seem larger than it was, for they obscured the walls, but it did not take Henny many steps to canvass the full length of the dingy room. She pressed her fingertips to the walls, then her ear, as though the stonework might whisper their weaknesses to her. But the walls, of course, remained mute. Henny then took the bars between her fingers and squeezed experimentally, but they refused to yield. Oh, come on. Oh, I love her. Frustrated, Henny gave the bars a kick. Oh, she's so cool. The tip of her shoe collided with them, loosing clods of dirt from her soles, but... Damn it all! The bars refused to budge. They were quite impenetrable. Sighing, Henny changed tack. She moved from the door to glance up at the window, but this was similarly barred, too high up to reach and much too small to squeeze through. It almost seemed like a miracle that such a small window allowed any moonlight at all to spill into the cell when the clouds and the fog shifted. And? Micah asked, when a disenchanted Henny flopped back down beside her with a rustle of her skirts. Did you uncover anything? Nuffle, except that we're more trapped than I thought. I thought you might have come to that conclusion, yes. God. Henny kicked off her right shoe, then began to massage her feet, which had begun to throb. This is a rum situation. I wonder what we're to do. I don't think there is much we can do other than wait. I suppose you're right. I can't say I like the thought of that, though. We're sitting ducks here. I feel we ought to be taking some kind of action. Henny looked about the cell once more, then sighed. But I'm drawing a blank here. I can't think of anything we could do. I'm sorry for being so hopeless, Micah. I meant to look after you, but I'm at a total loss. Don't apologise, dear Henny. I feel better simply being with you. That's something, at least. I wish I could be of some real use, though. You are of real use. Without you, I'd be an unconscionable mess. Weeping on the floor. Well, we can't be having that. It breaks my heart to see you cry. Much as it breaks mine to see you self-flagellate so over something that is not your fault. Touché. Now that we're well and truly stuck here, I suppose we ought to make the best of it. Although, I have a bad feeling about this place. It gives me the creeps. I don't know who imprisoned us here or what cause, but they've no manners to speak of. Why, it's almost as if... Henny began, but she found herself unable to finish the sentence. A sound issued forth from darkness, emitting from beyond their tightly sealed cell. It was a faint sound, but Henny still heard it, hovering in the sour and musty air. It sounded like a scream. Good God! What in the world was that? I suppose that was just the wind? Do you really think so? Yes, I imagine. Micah answered in the affirmative, though deep down both she and Henny knew the truth. This had not been the wind. It had been too raw, too pained, and though faint, unmistakably human. Ooh. Spooky. With no obvious way of escape and very little to do, Micah and Henny had no choice but to idle their time away. They sat upon the floor together, with their legs folded primly, like two little girls conducting a make-believe tea party. Henny had at first balked at the thought of her mistress sitting on the stone like a plebeian, but Micah's dress was already so dirty it didn't matter. The two women did not, however, abandon themselves to inertia. Henny knew they had to do something to take their minds off their ghastly predicament. Fortunately, Henny was not empty-handed. She had in her pocket, alongside the kerchief she had used to wipe Micah's cheek, a pack of cards. These cards were worn and bent at the corners, but they remained perfectly functional. For want of a better way to use their time, Henny proposed to Micah a game of Joker, a game which Micah agreed to. The two women played several rounds of Joker, examining their decks and dispensing cards. The game did not require a great degree of tactical thinking, but it helped alleviate some of Micah's worries. It could not, alas, alleviate the cold, but Micah had been shivering for so long she had almost grown accustomed to it. She had been in the dank, miserable cell for so long she could scarce remember how it even felt to be warm. Had her journey to Augsburg continued unimpeded, she would now be sitting by the fire in Walter Gerhardt's living room, or else tucked up in one of his many guest bedrooms with a warming pan at her feet. Both Augsburg and Walter Gerhardt seemed very far away to Micah now, though, being confined thus in a prison cell. How long had she been sitting with Henny on the floor, shivering? Micah did not know. She could not tell. All Micah really knew, in her infinite ignorance, was that the night seemed hopelessly long. She hopelessly small and insignificant. There was no clock in Micah's cell, and neither she nor Henny carried timepieces upon them. The only means Micah had of tracking the advancement of the hour was the sliver of sky she could see beyond the narrow window, situated high above her head. She could recall that the sky had been dark upon her waking, and it remained so now. 3 games of Joker later, the moon, which emerged from the fog at irregular intervals, shone its pallid light upon Micah's head and upon her hand of cards, lighting her joker and his wide, rictus grin. Micah had never much cared for the joker and Henny's trusty pack of cards. His expression unnerved her. Every once in a while as she played, Micah spared a few glances at the barred window above her head. Though she could not guess the hour, she knew it was late. Could have been an advanced hour of the night, or could have been, by the same token, the very, very early hours of the following morning. The calendar might have shifted already from one day to the next, but Micah was none the wiser. The sky was so dark, Micah found it hard to believe the sun would ever rise again. The darkness, which abounded within her cell, was so complete it seemed to have blotted out the very concept of the morning altogether. She feared she would never again see the sun's golden rays, never again hear the twittering of the starlings in the trees, which announced a brand new day. When did the birds begin to chirp beyond her bedroom window anyway? Micah could not recall, but she thought it must have been around 6 in the morning. Micah had gone to bed at 10 every night, like a dutiful daughter ought. But she had often found it hard to sleep for a full, unbroken 8 hours. She would arise at odd hours, at 1 or 2 or 3, her head full of thoughts, and often she found it hard to sleep again. When this occurred, Micah would rise from bed to sit by her windowsill, her forehead in the summer pressed to the glass that always helped cool her, and her errant thoughts alongside it. Oh, how her mind raced! This is ridiculous, Henny groused, all while examining her cards. We ought to be at Herr Gerhardt's right now, safe as houses. We weren't so very far from Augsburg, at least I don't think we were, when we were attacked. Why did those bandits have to go after us? They were just unfortunate, I suppose. I can't imagine the bandits meant specifically to target us, we just happened to be there. You're probably right, but... goodness. For all the awful luck. At least you've had a fair run during our game. You've beaten me out soundly during every single hand. Ha, well, true. I suppose I should thank heaven for some more mercies, eh? Henny smiled at Micah's attempt to cheer her, but it didn't last. Both Henny's smile and Micah's cheer were half-hearted, and they were soon swallowed by the sinister darkness of their cell. It's a shame I don't feel more thankful. I wonder what Herr Gerhardt would make of this. He'd be off his head, I'm sure, if he knew the state you're being kept in, Micah. I'm enraged too, for you and him. You deserve far better than this. You're a von Essen, for crying out loud. The person who's holding us here will feel mighty sorry when they realize who you are. You're a real lady. Maybe. Micah's reply was vague in both tone and meaning. Not even Micah herself was sure whether she meant to disparage Henny's optimistic assertions that her being a lady would grant her any favour with her captor, or whether she meant to challenge the notion she was a lady at all. Micah had been born to a noble family, it was true, with a lineage which could be traced back centuries, but the von Essens were not what they had been. Half a century of poor financial decisions and a grandfather with a compulsive gambling addiction had led to the squandering of much of the von Essens' wealth. While still in possession of their family home and a veritable fleet of maidservants, the family's finances had been in a dire state ever since Micah could remember. Though not openly wanting for cash, Micah's parents had made a good many purchases based on their family's prestige rather than the figures in their bank account. Micah's wedding to Herr Gerhardt had been an attempt to shore up the family's wealth before they could fall from grace altogether, but that now seemed an impossibility. How could Micah wed Walter when she was incarcerated? If Micah had loved Walter, she would surely have shed tears over so cruel a fate. As it was, however, she was curiously calm. What did she care how Walter Gerhardt felt? She barely knew him. Well, not to worry. Herr Gerhardt must be sitting in his drawing room now, wondering where the blazes we are. Herr Gerhardt is sure to send out a search party before long. He'll be worried sick about you, Micah. Do you really think so? Absolutely. I mean, he is your fiancé. He's got to be worried. You're such a sweet thing. I don't see how he couldn't. Thank you, Henny. I appreciate it. Don't thank me, Micah. I'm just stating the facts. If I was a man and I had a fiancé like you can bet that I wouldn't let you out of my sight. Perhaps it's a good thing that I'm in here with you, then. You at least know I'm alright. Yes, you are, and I thank heaven on high for that. You know I'd do anything to keep you safe, Micah. I know. Micah could well believe that coming from Henny. When it came to Henny's claims about Walter, however, Micah was less certain. Oh, fancy lad. Fancy, shiny. What did she know about Walter, really, other than his age and his occupation and how fabulously, excessively wealthy he was? Micah had met Walter on only 3 past occasions, and that exchanged almost as many words. The man was a stranger to her, and Micah's desire to marry him was inversely proportional to her parents' desire to see her walking down the aisle. Micah had been dreading her visit to Augsbury for well over a month. Now it had been terminated, she felt a perverse sort of relief. Part of Micah had even begun to wonder whether the bandit attack had brought with it some good alongside all the bad. But that, Micah chastised herself, was hopelessly cruel. Were her parents' lives truly worth that little to her? It was true enough that she may never see Walter Gerhardt again, but she would never see her father nor her mother again either. It was not a fair trade, not by any stretch of the imagination. How could she ever have thought of such a thing? She really must have been wicked. Was that why she had found herself in such a dire situation? Perhaps this was God's way of punishing her for being a poor daughter and a sinner who spent too much of her time lost in daydreams, imagining things which could never and would never be. Micah and Henny sat in their cell for what could have been minutes or hours or even days, whiling away the time. By God, there was so much time. With continued, unending, incessant games of Joker. Micah's heart was not in the game, her head being otherwise occupied, and Henny trounced her soundly 12-1. Henny was better than Micah at card games in general, so this came as little surprise. Micah was accustomed to losing and accepted her failures with good grace. There were more important things in life than card games, and in any event, Micah was glad to be rid of the eerily grinning jokers in her deck. Little of note happened during these dead, empty hours. Micah had begun to wonder in a detached way, as Henny launched into their 14th round of Joker, whether they would ever meet their rescuer. Perhaps whoever had hauled them from the forest had done so, not as an act of kindness, but as a means of prolonging their suffering. Maybe they meant to keep them locked in the cell alone, until time itself slowed to a trickle, then ceased, the squalid stone walls tumbling down about them to crush their emaciated corpses in the debris. But soon, shockingly soon, or so it seemed, despite all of the interminable waiting, Micah found her hypothesis proved wrong. She could hear above the sound of Henry shuffling the deck a sound. Footsteps. The footsteps were quiet enough, at first, that Micah wondered whether she had imagined them. But as the seconds elapsed, they became louder still until even Henny heard them. Goodness me! Henny fumbled with the cards and threw them down, red hearts and black spades spilt across the stone. Can you hear that, Micah? Yes, I can. Somebody must be coming. Our rescuer from the woods, do you think? They could be our rescuer, yes, but maybe. Micah chose not to finish this thought. Her saliva felt too thick in her throat, like tar, and she shivered. She didn't want to extinguish the hope which she could see flickering now in Henny's eyes. That would have been cruel. Henny's head swiveled to the grated iron door, excitable as a puppy, and wide-eyed, she peered through the shadows. This is a turn for the better. I was beginning to worry they'd forgotten all about us. I can't wait to come face to face with them. I'll be sure to tell them exactly what I think about their so-called hospitality. You've said that once before, Henny, and I wish you wouldn't. I don't want to anger them. Oh, stuff and nonsense. I'm sure it will be fine. If they wanted to harm us, they had plenty of chances to do it already, surely. That is true, but... The footsteps drew closer still, echoing about the stone walls, echoing inside Micah's skull. The footsteps could represent only two things. They would mean salvation if they were lucky. But Micah found it difficult to believe this. Neither she nor Henny had been very lucky that night, despite Henny's continued winning hands in Joker. It seemed far more likely that these footsteps would bring about yet more suffering. And sure enough. Well, well. Would you look what the cat dragged in? The voice that cut through Micah's musings was a proud, haughty one. The syllables polished to perfection like cut glass. The voice belonged quite obviously to a woman, and given her pronunciation, she must have been well bred. Perhaps the rescuer was a lady, then, a Von such and such like Micah, from a family whose ancestral home was vast and old and grand enough to have its very own dungeon. Whereas most nobility used their subterranean storage spaces for wine cellars, this family seemed to prefer taking prisoners. The thought did not fill Micah with much confidence about her mysterious rescuer. Anxiously, she glanced up to meet the source of said voice, and when she did, "Oh!" Micah could not help but gasp in surprise. The owner of the voice, who now stood upon the opposite side of the cell's door, was not at all what Micah had imagined. She was shorter than Micah had expected, shorter than Micah herself, who was dwarfed by her wealthier, significantly older fiancé, and slender with it. Her cheekbones high, her neck not dissimilar to the stem of a flower. Her skin was frighteningly pale, like that of a corpse, and beneath her eyes Micah could see dark rings, similar to those she often sported during the long nights at her bedroom window, unable to sleep. The woman, or was she a girl, had hair so fair it was almost white, which almost seemed to glow in the moon's light. Her hair was not worn in a chignon, but instead was loose. It tumbled about her shoulders in waves, all disarrayed, in a manner which would have made Micah's mother swoon from the sheer impropriety of it all. The girl's appearance, but was she a girl? Was striking, not only because of her indeterminable age, but because of her eyes, which were widely spaced and fringed with the most luxurious of lashes. Her irises were not brown like Henny's, nor blue like Micah's. They were not green, nor hazel, nor grey, nor any of the other shades Micah had seen in the faces of her family's servants, and the attendants at the boutiques to which her mother took her, and the congregation at her local parish. Her irises were instead bright red, so much so they bordered on the visceral. These lovely irises were even redder than the blood which had seeped from Micah's sliced cheek, and seemed to be full of violence. The girl was a perfect stranger to Micah, but her eyes told more than pleasant chit-chat ever could. She was not normal. Micah knew instinctively as she gazed upon her that she should keep her distance if she could, but this only made her conversely feel even more enchanted. She could not look away from her. It was as though her captor had placed her under a spell. That woman. Henny shifted back, her skirts shifting against the ground. She's the one I told you about, Micah. The one from the woods. She's the one who fought off those bandits. I thought what I saw was unbelievable, but now I know it wasn't a dream. She really is real. She killed all those men. She's a monster. Oh, a monster, am I? The woman's unnatural eyes narrowed, and with a smile said, "You cut me to the quick, you humans do. At least you would, were I not so accustomed to it. Perhaps I bring it upon myself, given the unusual manner in which I treat my guests. But you could at least try to be polite. Why, if it were not for me, the both of you would be lying in the woods right now, mangled beyond all recognition." So you really were the one who saved us. I thought as much. Yours isn't a face anybody could forget in a hurry. Why, thank you. I will take that as a compliment. I am very striking, I know. Why did you save us, though? And how? I can't believe you brought us back here, wherever here is, on your own. You must have had help. Oh, if only, but alas, I've not had any help for, well, let's see, it must have been a century at least. A century? Henny gawked at the woman, her eyes agog. But that would make you older than my grandmother. That can't be right. You don't look a day over 18. Oh, do you really think so? You're too kind. Laughing softly, the woman extricated a key from her pocket, then inserted it into the awaiting keyhole. Deftly, she turned it, and deftly she stepped into the cell, the hem of her dark cape dragging against the uneven stone floor. Once inside the cell, she turned close the door, then locked it anew. There, that ought to do it. It would be horribly tedious if you tried to run from me. I would be able to catch you, of course, but I'd rather not bother with all the fuss. With the door secured, the woman placed the key inside her pocket and turned to look at her prisoners. Her red eyes met Micah's, which were narrowed with mistrust and pouting. She said, "Now why are you looking at me like that? You make me feel quite unwelcome. I thought you would be relieved to see my face after being left to languish in the catacombs of my castle for hours on end. But maybe I was hoping for too much. In any case, you shouldn't frown like that, dear. It's an awful waste. You'll wrinkle your pretty face." This chastisement was familiar to Micah. She had heard it many times from her mother. While Micah had been trained to obey her mother without question, however, it was not so with this strange woman. Some of her reticence fell away and needled. Micah said, "What I do with my face is my own concern. I'm sure it's none of your business." "My goodness! You're feistier than you look. I took you for a shrinking violet, but maybe I was mistaken. You might make for quite the amusing plaything, though you'd be a good sight prettier if you smiled. I can't say I blame you for being so surly, though. I never liked smiling on command either, though it's been many, many years since anybody last tried to give me orders. It's fortunate nobody can tell me what to do now, at least. Came at quite the price, but... oh well, never mind. Where are my manners?" Oh. "My name is Magdalena, but you may call me Lena. My family's name, meanwhile, is of no particular importance. They might have commanded some respect back in the day, but is not so now. They have long since been obliterated. I doubt history will remember them. It would not wish to. I am all that is left of their legacy. In fact, I would very much love to rub in their faces, but alas, I never got the chance. It is very nice to meet you for the second time this night." So saying, Magdalena dropped a neat curtsy, taking hold of her cape in lieu of a skirt. "But I am afraid I will not be afforded much of a chance to properly know you. While I would relish the chance to speak to a couple of young maidens such as yourself, I have designs for you beyond idle chatter." "And what do you mean by that exactly?" "Only that now I've brought you here, I cannot continue to let you live. You have already seen too much." "What?" Henny stared at Magdalena with wide eyes, so full of fear the air swelled with it. "What do you mean?" "What I said. Do try to keep up. It's awfully tedious having to explain myself down to the finer details. But I suppose you have the right to know the bare minimum, prisoners though you may be. I would hate to keep you in suspense. And at this point it doesn't matter how much you know. You won't be able to tell anybody else what you might learn here. You'll not be venturing forth beyond the walls of my castle ever again." Magdalena smiled, her lips lifting in a wicked grin, not so very unlike that of the Joker in Henry's pack of cards. Though Magdalena's face was white, her lips were red, much like her eyes. They stood out in her milky face, like a rose blossoming despite the winter's chill. Or else, Micah thought with a shudder, freshly spilt blood. "You must understand that I am not a normal woman. No human can hope to best me when it comes to a competition of sheer strength, as the bandits who were pursuing you soon discovered. It didn't take me more than a few seconds to dispatch them. The fight they put up was so pathetic it makes me wonder why they even bothered." If they had any respect for my time, they would have slit their own throats with their daggers and saved me the trouble. You humans can be awfully thoughtless. But if they had done that, I wouldn't have been able to bring the leader of their little group back to my castle. He was in a bad way, and I was obliged to introduce myself to him before bestowing upon you similar honours. I really must apologise for making you wait. Magdalena dropped another curtsy, as an elegant lady might, but it smacked of insincerity. How many men and women had Magdalena brought back to her castle, and how many had she summarily tortured? Micah knew of at least one, besides herself and Henny. The bandit's leader? Did you kill him? Eventually, yes. It was quite the sight. You ought to have seen the way he begged and pleaded and grovelled at my feet. A grown man like that, who was practically made of muscle. Oh, how fickle fortune is. Just 1 hour hence he was the predator, stalking his prey through the woods, and the next. Magdalena drew a hand across her neck in the unequivocal, universal gesture of a slit throat. Well, what goes around comes around. He got what he deserved. And his screams really were exquisite. Did you perchance happen to hear them? He was being rather loud. What you... Oh, goodness. Surprised, are you? You shouldn't be. That man was a bandit, a vulture in a man's flesh who profited on misery. If it weren't for me, you would have gone the same way as the poor unfortunates in that stalled carriage. The driver and the horses, too. Nobody was spared their ravages, man nor beast. They made quite the grisly mess. Were I a century younger, it would have been enough to turn even my stomach. Maybe that is so, but to gloat over another death like that... It doesn't seem right. You're twisted. If I am twisted, that is only because this world... Magdalena began, but then paused. A momentary furrow captured her brow, but soon it straightened out, as though nothing of note had occurred. Well, never mind that. I do not wish to spout clichés about good and evil. I would begin to bore myself. The fact of the matter is, that man got what he deserved, as did his compatriots. I take great pains to ensure that. I paid that brigand back twofold for what he did to you. Did you know that he tried to be stoic in the beginning? Humans often are. Human males in particular. They have so much pride. It's funny, really, that a cur like that would care so very much about appearances. He was less a man than he was a dog. But he still had pretenses of greatness. Or of grandeur. I soon stripped him of those lofty delusions, however. Humans are very alike in one regard, at least. You all scream the same after your bones have been broken, and you all bleed red. That man was a brigand, I'll grant you that, who deserved the hangman's noose, but that's for a court of law to decide, not you. What you did isn't justice, it's barbaric. You shouldn't be taking pleasure in other people's deaths. Oh, thank you for the hydrate endeavour, I appreciate it. I have been nattering on a bit, haven't I? I am enjoying Magdalena quite a bit, I have to say. She's... oh! Magdalena, the woman that you are. What gave you the right to kill him anyway? I had every right to kill him. He was trespassing upon my land, as were you and the young lady here. His life was forfeit the moment he encroached upon my territory. The Lord's Prayer may say that we ought to forgive those who wrong us, but I've no patience with such teachings. They do not apply to me. The Lord has forsaken me. I am no longer a member of his congregation. He would have no love for me as I am now, and I have little love for him. I cannot conceive how he could have let me suffer so if he truly existed. Sometimes I do wonder. So you mean to add blasphemy to your list of crimes? I've done far, far worse than that in my time. The morals of your good, sententious, that's an interesting word. Hang on, chat. Sententious. Sententious. Given to moralizing in a pompous or effective measure. Ah! Churchgoers do not apply to me. I am not of your kind. I am a drinker of blood who walks the night. I have been alive for over a century, though my life is very different to yours and your mistress's. Oh, another hydrate. Thank you, Omni. And a straight cheese? Okay. A pasta shake too? My goodness. I doubt that you can understand me, and neither do I want you to. I have no desire to understand you either. There would be no point. We are much too different. A drinker of blood? But that would make you... That's just Castlevania Alucard with boobs. I see no problem with that. This an upgrade, frankly. A vampire? It was Micah who offered forth this label after Henny's voice faltered. Micah was an ardent devourer of books, and she had read before of such shadowy denizens of the night, much to her mother's chagrin. Lady Von Essen had thought that Micah, as a well-bred young woman, ought not to read at all. It will only excite your mind, dear, but should instead bury herself with embroidery. Micah, however, had always preferred books to busy work, particularly work which involved needles, and she found herself returning to stories time and time again, whenever she needed a break from her own dreary life. There is a point that we can say is that Alucard already has boobs. These are just different boobs. Alucard has very impressive boobs, I have to be honest. Shout out to Alucard's tits. Mike had read all manner of books over the years, but she preferred adventure stories full of mystery, intrigue, and yes, even murder. Micah knew from her reading that vampires were nocturnal creatures, often aristocratic, who shunned the sunlight, dwelt in ruinous castles, and supped upon the lifebloods of fair maidens. Yes, Micah thought in an oddly detached manner, that did make sense. She had sensed that there was something strange about Magdalena when their eyes had first met. Magdalena really must have been a vampire. It all made sense. At least it would have, had Micah been a heroine in one of her novels. But life, Micah reminded herself, was not akin to a story. Micah might have consumed books like a starving man, but she had sense enough to know that the words written within the book pages of adventure stories were all skeins of fiction. Vampires ought to have remained within the realm of make-believe. They had no business walking about as humans did, made of cold, unfeeling flesh with hearts which no longer beat. They were supposed to be constructs, mere figments of fancy. But Magdalena was undoubtedly real, and unsettling though she was, Micah did not take her for a liar. Yes, that is correct. I am a vampire, and this castle is my territory. It, and the wits that surround you. You wandered into my domain, you hopeless little lambs, while on the run from those awful bandits. I know none of this is your fault, and have no quibbles with you. I am not blaming you for what occurred tonight. There! See how fair I am? I'm too nice by half, too nice for my own good cause. You've been awfully surly with me, the both of you, but have only been ever so polite. I would even let you go if I could. Dispatching of brigands is one thing, but I take no pleasure in harming young ladies. But I feel that would be foolhardy. I cannot allow anybody who has wandered into my realm to leave alive. I do not want you telling tall tales. I just snap both of your necks and be done with it, but... Magdalena's red eyes found Micah's, then held them. Her smile, which hitherto had seemed so easy, faded as she frowned. You don't seem to be a mere peasant. I can tell from your clothes, dirty though they are, that you are from a wealthy background. Your voice and your bearing, yes, even the way you look at me, it all suggests that you are in fact a lady. Would I be correct in that assessment? Why do you ask? It would be problematic for me if I were to dispatch a woman of renown, I would not want your disappearance to catch the attention of men in high places. If they were to send out a search party into these woods, it's not wholly impossible that they would stumble upon my home. I have lived out of sight from the public eye for nigh on a century, and have no desire to invite half of Augsburg's constabulary into my home. The idea is incredibly unpleasant. Magdalena pulled a face, as a small child might when confronted with a plate of food they did not much care for. If you really are a lady, I might do well to exercise some caution. I suppose I can always spare your life and kill only this dowdy common girl. Your maid, I take it. Magdalene looked Henny now, her lips curled into a mean smile. What do you say to that? It is not a bad trade, is it, her life for yours? Precious few people who find themselves in my abode are ever able to live to tell the tale. You would be one in... Goodness, how many guests have I had over the years? There must be a good 200 or 300. Aren't you touched by my thoughtfulness? Silence descended in the decrepit cell following Magdalena's announcement. Stuck for words, Micah could only stare at her, her lips parted. What was she to say to Magdalena's proposal? How was she to feel? There was relief, certainly, at the prospect of escaping the cell, but Micah could take no real pleasure in it, not when it would come at the cost of Henny's life. How could she abandon her friend who had been by her side since her early childhood? Were it not for Henny, Micah knew she'd be dead already, butchered like a farmyard animal in her parents' carriage. Henny had rescued her once already. It seemed unconscionable that she should leave her now. Micah turned this over in her mind, worrying her teeth with her lower lip, when... Oh, Henny, what are you doing? Our first CG of the night. Well, that's a lie, the intro, but... Oh, it's so beautiful. Well, if my life's all you're after... Henny reached out, taking Micah's hands between her own, then said, What else is there to think about? It sounds like a fine suggestion to me. Don't you agree, Micah? What? Micah stared into Henny's round, soft face, her eyes vast and uncomprehending. Surely you don't mean that. You're not all right with this, are you, Henny? Well, it'd be a lie if I said I was jumping up and down for joy at the prospect of being eaten by a vampire. Henny's smile wavered, though she tried to maintain a brave face. But if it's what I've got to do to save your life, Micah, then I'll do it. I do love you, after all. I'm not going to let you get hurt. Henny tried to sound brave, but Micah could hear how her voice trembled all the same. Could feel, too, how Henny's hands shook. Henny, like her, had heard the screams of the bandits' leader as they echoed through the halls. No, neither woman had seen his final moments. They knew from his cries that his demise must have been barbarous. Micah could not allow Henny to endure such suffering for her sake. She could not allow her to die. Micah knew Henny wished only the best for her, but... No. Micah spoke up, her voice surprisingly cool, given the wild fluctuations of her heart within her breast. Oh. There we go. I won't allow that to happen. It wouldn't be right. If one of us must remain here, then it ought to be me. What? No, you can't mean that, Micah. Surely you jest. No, I'm not. You know I have a terrible sense of humour, Henny. I hardly ever tell jokes. I don't have enough levity in me for them. I'm being very serious. You've always looked out for me ever since I was small. Not that I always listened to you. Don't you remember when I stole the keys to the mausoleum and my insufferable curiosity and crept inside? But of course I remember. You dragged me in after you despite my warnings and went about as badly as I expected too. Didn't it just? Faintly Micah smiled, dire though their situation was, happy to share this memory with Henny. For all she knew, it might very well have been her last chance to reminisce with her maid like this. Micah knew not what the future held, but... Lady von Essen was in such an awful mood when she found out. It was quite frightening. I'd never seen anything like it. Oh yes, she was fearfully cross. It's a wonder fire didn't come out of her nostrils. I recall that she struck you, And then when I tried to argue on your behalf, she struck me too. She struck me so hard my ears still ring from it sometimes. Oh fuck, okay. That's actually scary. God, yes, poor hen. I felt awful about it all the time. At the time, really I did. I didn't care about my punishment. God knows I deserved it, but you'd done nothing wrong. You'd been perfectly reasonable about the whole thing. If I'd listened to you, we could have avoided the furor altogether, but I was too reckless. I ignored your wishes, but you still tried to protect me. You jumped to my defense just like a knight, and you were slapped silly for your troubles. It was horribly unfair. I've dragged you into all sorts of messes before, and you've always come to my defense. You've been a wonderful friend to me throughout the years, but I can't keep relying on you. I don't want to take advantage of your kindness. But Micah, I like it when you rely on me. Please, feel free to take advantage. That's what I'm here for. Oh, I would take advantage of Henny so bad. No, I can't. It isn't right. It's long past time that I repaid you. By offering yourself up as a sacrifice in my stead? That isn't what I want. Micah, please. Henny stared at her mistress, her eyes wide eyes entreating. Don't harm me, Omni. Look at that woman and tell me you don't feel the same. That's a woman right there. That's a full-blooded woman. Capital W, woman. That's the good shit. I love you, but you're acting like a crazy woman. And you are the pinnacle of rationality, are you, considering this crazy deal? That is truly insane. Don't tell me you've accepted all this. Of course I've not accepted it. I'm terrified, really. See how my poor hands are shaking? But one of us biting it has to be better than both of us. If I can protect you, then I must. I will. That's my job. No, it isn't. Not any longer. I'm absolving you of your duty, Henny. This farce has lasted long enough. What farce? You know what I mean. Magdalena? Yes? Have you quite finished with your little quarrel? I must confess, I was beginning to feel rather left out. My apologies. I will endeavour not to be so rude in the future to my hostess. Micah dipped her head in a gesture of esteem, one not so very dissimilar to the way Henny was bidden to bob around her mother. Micah knew she could not afford to anger Magdalena. If Micah was to save Henny, she would be obliged to beg and bow and scrape. Fortunately, begging and bowing were not beyond Micah's means, even though she was a lady. She was no stranger to scraping either, having tearfully entreated her parents to reconsider her marriage prospects. She had failed on that score, but she didn't intend to fail now. She knew what she must say. It seemed a stretch that Magdalena would believe you but her, but if she did... I fear you are labouring under a misapprehension, Lady Magdalena. Your reasoning is sound. There would indeed be a ruckus if a noblewoman were to go missing. But your application is not. I am not a lady, you see, but my companion is. Oh? Magdalena raised an eyebrow. Then you mean to say you are the maid, and this lump and Henny here is the mistress? That is correct, yes. I know I am dressed as a lady, albeit a disgraced one, but that was part of Lord and Lady von Essen's ruse. While travelling, they often have me dressed as a lady, while Henny, that is to say Henrique, dresses as a maid. It is a means of subterfuge, so that if our carriage were to be attacked by bandits, I am the one who would be in harm's way, rather than my mistress. This is fucking clever. I like this plan. Only a truly desperate bandit would rummage through the pockets of a maid, especially when she is with her lady. What? Micah, that's... Henny began, but Micah cut her off. She was warming to her ruse, and she found she could not still her tongue, not until she had delivered her whole address. Lady Henrique is the one whom will be missed in Augsburg, not I. She has a fiancé waiting for her, you know, and he is a very important man. If she doesn't arrive before the dawning of the next day, he'll be certain to send out a search party for her. You would not want that, would you? Magdalena pondered Micah's tall tale for a few moments, one gloved hand resting upon her hip. As she thought, Micah stared at her, compelling her through sheer force of will to accept her tale at face value. Micah knew her story was patently unbelievable. But she didn't need to convince the whole jury. She needed only to convince Magdalena. An age seemed to pass, during which nobody spoke until... Oh, very well. If that is how it is, then I suppose I have no choice. You may leave my abode, Lady Henrique. Here, Magdalena dropped another effusive curtsy. If that is indeed your real name, I will grant you the chance to reunite with your fiancé in Augsburg, who might be awaiting you with no shortage of anticipation. Who wouldn't, after all, wish to dote upon a maiden as fair and fine as yourself? Your surprisingly well-spoken maid, however, will be bidden to remain by my side. Do we have a deal? Yes, I would do anything to ensure Lady Henrique's safety. Oh, most assuredly. You would not consent to acting as a decoy on her behalf if you didn't care. What a wonderful friendship you women have. It is quite special, really, particularly given this disparity in your social statuses. Now come along, Lady Henrique. It was very lovely to make your acquaintance, but now I fear I must cut our meeting short. Let me escort you to the front door. It is the least I can do for a woman of your lofty status. What? Micah, no! Henny cried, but in vain. Magdalena was soon upon her, her pale fingers winding tight about her wrist. Micah, please, stop this! Tell her the truth. I'm sorry, Hen, but... Abashed, Micah dropped her gaze to the stone floor. Though she had given her life for Henny's sake, she found she could not meet her friend's gaze as she was dragged bodily from their cell. The hurt in Henny's countenance and the betrayal stung far too much. This is how it has to be. Says who? I was willing to go along with this woman's plan, but you scuppered it. I don't understand you at all, Micah. Why would you tell such a tissue of lies for little old me? Magdalena, please. Henny stared at Magdalena, all while trying and failing to dig her heels into the stone floor of her cell. Surely you can't believe my mistress. It's obvious she's lying. There's no way she isn't a lady. Not with her fancy proper way of talking. She's far, far more genteel than I could ever dream of being. Her manners are certainly more polished than your own, yes. Perhaps this comes from years of servitude? You could stand to learn a thing or two from your mate, Lady Henrique. Your fiancé won't think much of you as you are now, I'm afraid. Why, you're speaking almost like a fishwife. Now come along, let us not argue, you will give me a headache. Magdalena fucking knows, and she doesn't care. She's like, oh, this is funny, I'm gonna go along with it because I haven't been entertained in so fucking long. She's having a fun time. But Micah, I can't leave her, let me go. Henny cried anew, squirming now, but Magdalena's hold upon her did not loosen. If anything, it seemed to grow stronger, to such a degree that Henny screamed. Ow! Henny's cries echoed through the cell, more unbearable than those of the bandit's leader during his final moments. Magdalena had not made Henny bleed, at least, but she was gripping her wrist so tightly Micah feared she might snap it. Henny, who was short and dumpy, could put up little in the way of a fight. The poor maid was quite helpless before her. There was nothing which could be done, not any longer. Henny would have to leave, while Micah would remain incarcerated in this dreary cell alone. This was what Micah had wanted when she had spun her frankly untenable story. So why, then, did she feel so guilty? Let go of me! Let go, I say! Micah, please! Henny continued to protest, but Magdalena remained insensible to her cries. The door of the cell was closed once more with a metallic clang, and Micah was left upon the ground, pale-faced, trembling, and all alone. And I think that's a great time, a great place for us to wrap up stream. I think it's a great place for us to wrap up. I am very excited to see how this story unfolds. This is a fucking great story. I'm having a lot of fun. Chat, come back on Saturday at 7 PM EST for part 2, and let's see who is live. Thank you all for showing up for my debut as well. That was honestly this new model debut. It's been incredibly sweet to see everyone's excitement over my new design. Let's see. who do I want to... Oh, Wicked's playing Outlast. That sounds fun. That's some more spooky times as well. Wicked is great. I love Wicked a lot. He's a little green slime. And he's so cute. Hang on, we should... Okay, here's our raid message. Chat. For... That's our raid message. The cat attacks. Can everyone use that emote? I can't remember which one's a follower only and which one's a sub only. I think that one is a... I think that is an option. Oh no, that isn't a standard. That's a sub one. Hang on. Ignore that chat. We'll do the same message, but we'll do that. Okay, that is for that's one for you guys who followers. There you go. That's our raid message. And we're going to attack our dear friend Wicked, who is playing Outlast. Very exciting. Thank you again for joining in today, and thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. You read starting soon, read now, go get him, Violence!